You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Hey, good morning, Cory Booker. It's
What
The
up?
Breakfast Club.
Corey, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well down here, man. How are you guys?
We saw you yesterday on Capitol Hill getting at the Homeland Security Secretary for acting like she didn't hear Trump's shithole comments, man. What set you off like that?
That's it, man. I mean, people who sit by and do nothing when they hear bigotry are complicit in that bigotry. We know this from history. We know this from our recent experiences in our communities, and it's just outrageous to see it at the highest office of the land.
Do you look at Donald Trump like he's a racist? Because I've been hearing a lot of people come forward that have worked with him, that have known him for years, saying that, yes, indeed, he is a racist. He refused to shake the hands of black people, just a lot of things that he's done in his past.
Well, he has a consistent pattern of saying bigoted, hateful comments, from his thinking a judge can't do his job because of his Latino ancestry, from his comments about African Americans in the days that he was in real estate, and frankly, from things like not condemning hatred in Virginia. So, but what's worse than that? King said it so eloquently. He said that what we have to repent for in this day and age is not the vitriolic words and violent actions of the bad people, but it's the silence and inaction of the good people. We way outnumber in America, whites, blacks. We all way outnumber the bigots and the haters. But when you're quiet around sexism, when you're quiet around anti-Semitism or anti-Muslim hate, when you do nothing, you give strength and license and power to those who peddle hate. We've had over about 85 bad terrorist incidents since 9/11. Over 70% of them have been white nationalists, right-wing hate groups who take license from the President of the United States. They use his words after Charlottesville. They used his words to say that they had a supporter in the White House. We need a moral strength coming from our leadership. I don't care what party you are in. There's certain things that are out of bounds, unacceptable. And when the President of the United States puts those words out like he did, they don't just dissipate in the wind. They have power. They fester. They poison, and they give license to hate.
You know, Laura Ingraham of Fox News said you was doing a lot of bad acting on Capitol Hill yesterday. She doesn't believe you.
Well, it's Fox News. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it's Fox News. I mean, give me a break.
What did you expect?
The things I've spoken about, the things I've fought since I've been in the United States Senate, whether it's criminal justice reform, the kind of environmental racism we see in communities throughout the Black Belt, in places like Newark, I'm consistent. And when I know myself, I am in the United States Senate because incredible white folks and black folks stood up for my family. They refused to sell us homes in certain towns in Bergen County in the late 1960s. My parents went to a group of people that would not be bystanders, and they stood up for us, and they fought for us, and helped us buy the home in the town that I grew up in. And so for me to benefit directly from people who stood up against hatred, bias, and bigotry, and when I see someone sit before the United States Senate and lie to senators that she could not remember what the commander-in-chief, her boss, said in a small office, the Oval Office, and on top of that, that she couldn't connect the bigotry coming from the White House to all the rises in hate crimes we're having. I reject that, and I will never. I don't care who you are. Understand me, and everybody should feel this way. If you come after Jews, if you come after Muslims, if you come after Haitians, El Salvadorians, if you come after my fellow American citizens, I will not tolerate it. And she should have been in the same way, as opposed to just doing her job. Well, we know what happened in Europe when people just did their job. We know what happened in our own history where people were just doing their job. It allowed the most evil kind of hate to proliferate, and we can't allow that. We must stamp that out in our country.
Do you think Trump will last his full term as president?
I think we all should have that expectation. I don't wish physical ill will on everybody. I hope I'm happy to see that he's healthy. We cannot hope for ill to anyone.
I don't want him to die. I meant just impeached. I didn't say.
I went there because of his health records.
Oh no, I didn't want him to die now.
No, Corey's fully aware that the Haitians have the whammy on Donald Trump right now.
I didn't mean voodoo. I just meant as far as
As far as impeachment talks,
yes.
We'll see what Mueller comes up with. I mean, clearly the investigation is advancing, and we've seen many of the president's friends and associates now either be indicted or are cooperating witnesses. So we'll see where this goes. But I can't live my life with that expectation.
Right.
I have to deal with the man who holds the office and enter into everything I can to resist, defend, and to gain ground when I can in partnerships with Republicans.
Well, Mr. Booker, if roots and impeachment don't work, why are the 2018 elections another step in getting him up out of there?
Oh, I mean, this is where the power of us in the tri-state area. I mean, folk got to understand, if we pick up House seats, and we have a number of them in New Jersey that we can pick up on the Democratic side, if we pick up House seats and flip the House, it takes the Trump strength, so much of the Trump strength away from him. If we win in the Senate, reelecting people like Senator Menendez, like Kirsten Gillibrand in our area, as well as others defending other seats, if we take the Senate, then we have the ability now to stop so much of what he does. And the biggest thing, this goes back to the point I was making before, the opposite of justice is not injustice, it's silence, it's inaction. If just millennials alone voted at the same level as the generation ahead of me, the baby boomers, if they just participated that much, we would win back the House easily. The problem is so many folks don't engage. And I'm telling you right now, people say, I don't mess with politics. Well, if you don't mess with politics, politics is messing with you. And Obama said this in a speech to Howard University. He's like, look, this isn't complicated. If you all vote, we win. We transform. We get everything. Paid family leave. We raise the minimum wage. All these things. You all just got to vote. You don't have to occupy anything. Just vote.
Now,
and that's the problem. We have so many people who think this democracy is a spectator sport. They can just sit on the sideline and do nothing. This is a full contact participatory endeavor. Your rights are being eroded right now. Civil rights, voting rights. The outrage is going on in the criminal justice system. The outrage is going on against immigrant Americans. That could all be stopped in 2018 if folks participate. And if you don't, then you're complicit in all the things you probably complain about.
Now, I saw you were just in Puerto Rico also, and filling everybody in on what's going on in Puerto Rico, because a lot of people still don't have power. They're saying the island won't have power restored fully until May.
Listen, I went there. First of all, there's heroes in Puerto Rico that are unbelievable champions serving the people. But you're right, over 40% of the people do not have power. I saw what happened in Newark when we were almost a week without power, what it did. We had people die in Newark as a result of not having power. And so to have 40% of that island, over 1 million people, without power, it's unconscionable. Many don't have access to clean water. And there's major problems looming with the healthcare system there. And so we've got to get our country to prioritize all Americans. We've got to prioritize Puerto Rican Americans just as much as folks want to prioritize Texans who are suffering as well after their storms. And this president has got to invest the resources and put the pressure on to allow American citizens to live without power, without clean water. That's just unconscionable. This should be on the front of all of our minds. And what we're asking our Congress and our president to do. You're right.
Now, Mr. Booker, I want you to give me your honest opinion. What do you think of Oprah in 2020? I want you to give me the honest opinion now, not the Gail might be listening opinion.
Well, I know Oprah. She's more phenomenal than people probably realize, even if they love her already. She's an incredible manager. I've never seen someone who is. I mean, I've watched her up close. She's just a detail-oriented professional manager. She's somebody that has just extraordinary leadership skills. And then, obviously, she is what we know. She's somebody that reminds us that we are spiritual beings, deeply connected to one another. She elevates us to a larger common sense of purpose. And I think if she entered politics, I think that would be an exciting, promising thing. Even if she didn't win an office, just by her making that step, I think she would change our political climate.
Yeah, but I don't want her to start off as president. I mean, I don't think we should go from one celebrity in chief to another. And I love Oprah, but I just don't think we should go from one celebrity in chief to another celebrity in chief.
Yeah, look, I as a guy that's in the bowels of it all and working, there's a lot to be said for folk who know how government works, who have experience in many levels of government, know how to get things done. So Look, I want Trump gone, and so 2020.
Let's focus on that.
I want the best person. I want a leader that can call to the moral imagination of this country, that can remind us that the lines that divide us are nowhere near as the ties that bind us, that can help us to focus on prosperity for all.
Could that be you, Cory Booker?
Yeah, could that be you?
I have not made any decisions about 2020. I'm too focused on 2018 and the job that I have to do. So I'm up for re-election in 2020. If New Jersey is listening, my intention and hope right now is that Jersey will return me to the Senate then.
Well, I want you to run in 2020. I want to see Kamala Harris run in 2020, and I'd like to see Eric Holder run in 2020 as well.
That would be knowing Kamala, knowing Eric Holder, to have those kind of leaders who also happen to be African American. It would change our politics. So let's hope we have great candidates. There's a lot of really good Democrats who are worthy to step up and stand before the people to be evaluated.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Mr. Booker, for calling. You got to come up here when you're in town, man.
And if you want to shout out your podcast, because I know you have a new podcast also.
Yeah, thank you, folks. Just go to my Twitter feed, Facebook, or Instagram, and you can link onto my podcast. It was the first one, which was my hero, John Lewis, and the man will move you. He was incredible, and it's good to be reminded that what went on in the past, to see a guy like that with his hands still on the plow. An inspiring podcast if you need some food for your soul.
All right. Well, thank you for checking in.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
See you in person soon. Bye-bye now.
All righty. Cory Booker, it's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.